Good afternoon, family. So, God showed me this week why it's so important to educate your child on the devil and the many forms that he come in. Okay, so in chapter 5 of the book of Adam and Eve, and it says, "As for self, when he was just 7 years old, he knew good and evil and was consistent in fasting and praying and spent all his nights in entering God for mercy and forgiveness." Okay, so in the book of Adam and Eve, it shows us that Adam and Eve started educating self about the devil at a young age, okay? Because the devil had already taken one of their childs at just 15 by their older son who was 17, right? So that let them know that they needed to start real young educating their children on the devil in the many forms that he comes in, okay? So while self was fasting, right, the devil approached him. And you know how the devil do when he always approach you, he makes you these promises if you follow him, right? If you follow me, right? This is what he um offers self. It says after that, and he was cornering down from the altar, having ended his offering, Satan appeared unto him in the form of a beautiful angel. Okay, so we know the devil will come in the form of an angel. He has come in the form of humans, right? He has come in the form of a snake. He has come in the form of a woman, right? He has taken all these different shapes, right? But right now he's coming as an angel with a brilliant light, right? And it says he greeted self with a beautiful smile and began to beguile him with fair words, saying to him, "O self, why abidest thou in this mountain? For it is rough, full of stones and of sand, and of trees with no good fruit on them." Right? So he's trying to convince self to leave the place, which is the cave of treasure, which was a mountain that God sent Adam and Eve to. He told them to stay here on this holy mountain. Okay, so they already had got kicked out of the holy garden, and so God created this holy mountain for them to live in. Right, so you have the devil trying to downplay what God has given them and make it seem like it's not as good, to convince him that going with him would be better, okay? So he's saying, "Why are you on this mountain? It's full of stones, it has sands, right? The trees don't have no good fruit. Why are you here?" Right? He's like, this no good place to dwell in, right? And he says, then he started telling him about his world, right? And that's how you know, even though he came in the form of an angel, this is how you know it's the enemy. Because he says, in our world, right? You supposed to be in God, you supposed to be from God, right? So it's always about God, right? When people start making it about themselves, then it ain't from God, right? He said, in our world is one of light, and our conditions is of the best, right? So he's saying in our world, like, everybody is equal. He said, in our world, one is of light. Everybody is equal. That's what he mean, right? And our conditions are the best. He's saying that their world is the best. It says our women are handsomer. And it says, then any others, and I wish thee, O self, to wed one of them, right? Because I see that thou art fair. So fair, he's saying that he looks good. He said, I see that you look good, right? So you deserve the best women, and we have the best women. That's what he's saying to self, okay? And then he says, and in this land, there is not one woman good enough for thee, right? Besides all those who live in this world are only 5 souls. So he's saying, in this area that God has placed you, there's no one good enough for you. So you should come with me so I can give you someone that's worth you, that's worth being with you. Right? This is the things that he's saying to, to self, to get him to come with him. And the devil, he can transform himself to look beautiful on the outside, right? But it's on the inside. He's ugly, real nasty, right? And this is why he always tried to lead with his outside appearance, because he know on the inside he ugly, right? That's that bait and switch, right? That's what that means. Like, I know on the inside you would not like me. You would not want to be with me long term. So on the outside, I'm going to pretend to be everything you want me to be to draw you in before you get to know who I really am. That's what that bait and switch is. And he always used that when trying to get somebody to follow him, okay? And then he says, but in our world, there are many men and many maidens, all more beautiful one than another. He says, I wish therefore to remove thee hence, that thou mayest see my relations and be wed to whichever thou likest. Okay? Thou shalt then abide by me and be at peace. Thou shalt be filled with splendor and light as we are. Okay? So he's promising that if you come with me, you can marry anybody in my world that you want. You can have whoever you want, basically, okay? And he's saying once you get there, right, you'll be at peace, right? You'll be filled with, all the material things you want. And here he is always promising a light that he can't give, right? And then it says, thou shalt remain in our world and rest from the world and the misery of it. Thou shalt never again feel faint and weary. Thou shalt never bring up an offering nor sue for mercy. For thou shalt commit no more sin, nor be swayed by passion. So he's telling him, if you come to my world, you won't have to follow the law no more, because there won't be no sin. That's what he just said, right? He says you won't have to you won't have to do offerings no more, because there will be no sin. So anything goes. You can do whatever you want in my world. And you don't have to be sorry about it. Right? This is what he's telling a 7-year-old. You can have whatever you want. You can marry whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. Not feel sorry about it. Not feel bad about it, because I don't consider anything a sin, and we all are equal here. Right? And it says, if thou wilt hearken to what I say, thou shalt wed one of my daughters, for with us it is no sin to do. Neither is it reckoned animal lust, right? For in our world we have no God, but we are all gods. We all are of light, heavenly power, strong and glorious. See, in his world, he want to be equal to God. He want to be on the same level as God, but he's not. see all these promises that he came